Hi, I'm Becca from Road Trip Club, and you join me today for a car locations and coffee morning where I give you a little casual talk through some of the best locations if you're a car fan and you're interested in travelling to a particular country. In honour of our upcoming road trip to the Swiss Alps, I put together a little video today all about places in the Swiss Alps, from driving locations, some places you might want to stop along the way, and also some car museums and collections that you might want to see. If you checked out my video last week, which was about car spots in Germany, you'll notice that obviously Germany is a much bigger country, so there's a little bit less to choose from when you're looking at Switzerland. But if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you head over to have a look at that now. If you haven't heard of Road Trip Club before, we are a tour operator and travel agent catering to people who absolutely love cars and car locations. If you're looking to go driving in your car or in another car, we can help you out. So if that's something you've got on your mind, why not head to our website? It's roadtripclub.co.uk, or you can drop me an email for a free quote. I am becca@roadtripclub.co.uk. So I'm going to start off with 5 top driving roads in Switzerland. There are obviously so many to choose from, but if you have never road tripped to Switzerland before, then you're going to want to make sure that these roads are on your list. First up, we've got the Furka Pass. This is probably one of the most famous driving locations in Europe when it comes to beautiful scenic views and stunning roads to drive. There isn't really much like it. It's also well known because of its because it featured in James Bond's Goldfinger, and there's actually like a full loop you can do of an extra section that isn't part of the Furka Pass but is part of that. So there is an even bigger loop that you can do as well. Next up, we've got the Grimsel Pass. This links the Rhone and Ahr valleys. My Swiss pronunciation is not good, but this is a really iconic location that's known for glacial lakes, stunning drives, and lots of dramatic turns. Next up, we've got the Suston Pass. This actually joins on to the Furka Pass in a way, so if you're driving one, you might as well do the other. This is a road with lots of high altitude, fantastic scenery, and panoramic views. Next up, we've got the Gotthard Pass. This is a really historic road, very scenic. It's even got a section which is cobbled, which is the old Tremola Road. Perfect for car lovers if you love a bit of history, but also quite a challenging road to drive, very steep incline. Depending on which way you're going, it's obviously going to make it a different experience. And then last on the list, we've got the Clausen Pass. This is less crowded, known for really winding roads and just beautiful mountain villages if you're driving through it. Next up, we're going to talk about some of the beautiful places in the Swiss Alps that you might want to make a stop or a scenic viewpoint along the way. I'm going to start with the town of Andermatt. This is like a really charming alpine village. It's a location that some people go to if they're skiing as well, so you might know it from that, but it's also really close to where the Furka Pass is. So it's a great place to stop. If the Furka Pass is your destination, we use it a lot because it's got great hotels, great restaurants, and it doesn't take you too far away from some of those mountain roads. Next up, we've got the Grimsel Hospice, which you might have heard of. This is quite a famous hotel located near the Grimsel Pass. It's only open in the summer months because you can't get up there when it's winter. But it's a beautiful place. There's a restaurant there. So if you just want to make a stop and see what's a really historic, beautiful location, it's worth going for that. But you can actually stay there and eat there when it's open. Okay. Next one is one for the people who love a bit of nature as well as their cars. So this is the Rhone Glacier, which is near the Furka Pass. You can stop here to walk through an ice tunnel, and it's like a pretty incredible view of nature. So you can walk out and you can see this huge glacier, but you can walk through an ice tunnel to get there. It's not always open, so it's worth checking. And again, the Furka Pass also isn't always open, so getting up there is challenging. I'm not sure if it's there all year round. A lot of glaciers sort of shrink to nothing but I'm not sure if the ice tunnel is always there or not. So worth checking before you go. Next, a great place to stop or add to your road trip is Interlaken. This is known for adventure sports, and obviously, if you can't tell from the name, it's located between two lakes. So yeah, really beautiful location to stop. Final stop on the list of places to consider stopping is Lucerne. So this is a town that's just north of the Alps. It's very pretty historic, your kind of traditional Swiss-looking location. Lots of beautiful waterside cafes, restaurants, hotels. So a few more options, easy to get to, and a nice, pretty Swiss location. Okay. Finally, we'll talk about some motor museums and car collections that you might want to check out if you are interested in classic cars or generally any cars. So first up, we've got the Swiss Museum of Transport. That is in Lucerne, which I obviously just mentioned. So another reason to make that a stop on your route. This is quite a modern museum with lots of modern exhibits, but it covers all things cars, trains, planes, plus interactive exhibits. So lots in there to get your teeth into if you're interested in more than just cars. The next one on the list is, I'm going to try and say this, but I'm also going to put the name up below so you can search for it, is the Autobau Erlebniswelt in Romanshorn, I'm going to guess. I'm terrible with pronunciation of Swiss things, or German, I'm sorry. So this is located near Lake Constance, and this just has an amazing private collection of cars in it. Rare cars, racing cars, from your kind of historic up to your modern classics, all lots of interesting things to look at. So if you're interested in cars, motorsport, classic cars, this is a really cool place to add to your list. We've also got the Emil Frey Classic Car Collection. So this is, so Emil Frey are actually a car dealer group, but they've been around for ages. They're like the biggest car dealer group in Europe. And they have an amazing private museum of a private collection with everything from Aston Martins, Mazdas. They're a Mazda dealer, so they've got a fantastic collection of all different Mazdas and racing Mazdas throughout history. So a really cool place to add to your list. It's also got a cafe in it if you go at the right time. It's one of those ones where you need to make sure it's going to be open, but can be a good place to add as a stop off if you want to. There are lots of other classic car collections in Switzerland, but some of them tend to be a little bit more niche, a little bit more Swiss car focused, so might not be necessarily of interest for a UK driver. But I'm going to give you a couple other ones that are actually in France, but if you're driving into Switzerland from the UK, are potentially on your route. So one to consider is the National Automobile Museum in Mulhouse, which is obviously has a French name for that. So this has a huge collection of cars, including a fantastic Bugatti exhibit. You've got really old turn of the century cars up to modern classics, famous racing cars, all this kind of stuff under one roof. So that's a really good one to add on. And I think it's only like €15, so a good one. So Mulhouse is just on the border between Switzerland and France. So easy if you're on your way there anyway. And the other one is the Peugeot Museum, which is in a place called Montbéliard in France. Again, actually not that far away from Mulhouse, but just slightly further south in France. This has an incredible collection of historic Peugeot stuff and some of the other non-car stuff that they did. And it's got an amazing kind of conservatory restaurant in there that you can go visit too. So 2 extra places to definitely put on your list. Finally, some things to think about if you are road tripping to Switzerland. Firstly, think about the weather, the time of year you're travelling. A lot of the mountain passes are only open certain times of the year, but you can easily check when they're open online. If you search for them, it will tell you what time of year they're typically open, and they'll tell you if they're open that day. So even if you're out there, it's always worth checking on the day that they're definitely open before you try and drive them. If it's blistering heat in summer, you'll probably get away with it. But if you're on those sort of edge times, September, October, or March, April, the snow can still be there, and that can really affect it. Also, make sure your car is prepped and safe. You're not a million miles away from anywhere, but you don't really want to break down on the side of a mountain pass, or be doing lots of turns, hairpin turns with tyres that are shot, or brakes that are shot if you are heading downhill. Don't ride your brakes as well, but also don't put your car under a load of stress that's unnecessary. Just check those things before you head out. And the last thing is book early. A lot of these famous hotels, like I mentioned, the Grimsel Hospice, they can sell out really fast in the best locations if you're looking within that window when the passes are open and when people sort of want to travel in the summer. So if you have any more questions about these places, please let me know in the comments. And if you are interested in more Swiss Alps routes when they're open, what you should know, where they are and that sort of things, then you can head to our website. I'll put some links below. We've got some great guides for Swiss Alps, Italian Alps, French Alps, all those, as well as lots of other places. So if you're interested in road tripping, make sure you head over there. And as I said at the start, if you are thinking about your own road trip, then get in touch for a free quote. It can't help and it can't hurt. And we can hopefully help you find a fantastic deal on your hotels, crossings, and where you're going to go. So thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, please make sure like and subscribe, and I will see you again next week.